At the most fundamental level, we may ask, what is life? This question has fascinated scientists, philosophers, and thinkers for centuries. Even a child knows that a dog or a plant is alive, but a rock or a car is not. Yet, defining life is not simple. It is an incredibly complex phenomenon. Life is everywhere, from the deepest oceans to the highest mountains, from microscopic bacteria to massive blue whales. Every living organism, no matter how simple or complex, shares certain essential characteristics. But what exactly makes something alive? How do living things function, interact, and evolve over time? In this video, we will explore the mysteries of life in depth, covering what is life, the key characteristics of living organisms, the organization of life, from molecules to entire ecosystems, how life processes energy and maintains balance, homeostasis, how genetic information is passed down through generations, the role of evolution and natural selection in shaping life, how interactions between organisms sustain ecosystems, the scientific explanation of evolution, the three domains of life and classification of species, how natural selection shapes organisms, the role of genetic inheritance and adaptation, the power of the scientific method in studying evolution. What is life? The key characteristics of living organisms. To define life, scientists look at 7 key characteristics that all living things share. These characteristics help us distinguish between living organisms and non-living matter. Order and organization. Life is highly organized. Whether we look at a single cell or a complex human body, everything has a structured arrangement. A cell is the smallest unit of life, but billions of cells form tissues. Tissues make up organs, and organs work together in systems. A sunflower exhibits symmetry in its structure, while a human body has a complex arrangement of muscles, bones, and nerves working together. 2. Energy processing, metabolism. Living organisms require energy to survive, grow, and function. This energy comes from food, sunlight, or chemical reactions. Plants use sunlight to create food through photosynthesis. Animals consume food and break it down into energy through cellular respiration. Without energy, life cannot sustain itself. 3. Growthmen. Every living organism grows and develops according to its genetic instructions. A baby grows into an adult, just as a tiny acorn grows into a massive oak tree. This growth follows a specific pattern controlled by DNA, the blueprint of life. 4. Response to the environment. Life is dynamic, constantly interacting with the surroundings. A Venus flytrap closes when an insect touches it. Humans shiver when cold and sweat when hot. This ability to sense and react is crucial for survival. 5. Regulation and homeostasis. Living organisms must maintain stable internal conditions, even when external environments change. Our body temperature stays around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, no matter if it's hot or cold outside. A rabbit regulates blood flow through its ears to cool down in the desert heat. This process of maintaining balance is called homeostasis. 6. Reproduction. Life continues because organisms can reproduce and pass on their genetic information. Some organisms reproduce sexually, like humans and animals. Others reproduce asexually, like bacteria and some plants. Without reproduction, life would end. 7. Evolution and adaptation. Over time, species change and adapt to their environments. This process, called evolution, ensures that life survives even in harsh conditions. Example: the evolution of beach mice. Mice living on sandy beaches evolved lighter fur to blend with the sand. Mice in forests developed darker fur to avoid predators. This is natural selection, where organisms with beneficial traits survive and pass them on to future generations. Section 2. The levels of biological organization. Life is organized into a hierarchy, from the smallest building blocks to the vast biosphere. 1. Molecular level. DNA, proteins, and other molecules form the basis of life. 2. Cellular level. Cells are the fundamental units of life. 3. Tissue level. Groups of similar cells perform specific functions. 4. Organ level. Organs like the heart and lungs work together. 5. Organism level. A complete living being, like a human or a tree. 6. Population level. A group of the same species living in one area. 7. Community level, different species interacting in the same area. 8. Ecosystem level, living and non-living things interacting. 9. Biosphere level, the entire planet home to all life. Section 3. How life uses energy. Life needs energy to survive. This energy comes from different sources. Plants, autotrophs, capture sunlight through photosynthesis. Animals, heterotrophs, eat plants or other animals for energy. Decomposers, bacteria, fungi, break down dead matter and recycle nutrients. Energy flows through ecosystems, while nutrients like carbon and nitrogen cycle back to sustain life. Section 4. Genetics, the blueprint of life. The instructions for life are stored in DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA carries genetic information that determines traits like eye color, height, and even disease resistance. Gene expression. Genes are turned on/off based on the body's needs. Mutations. Changes in DNA can be harmful, neutral, or beneficial. Genetic inheritance. Traits are passed from parents to offspring. Understanding genetics has helped scientists develop medicines, study diseases, and improve crops. Section 5. The role of evolution and natural selection. Evolution is the reason why species change over time. Variation. No two individuals are identical. Natural selection. The strongest traits survive and get passed on. Speciation. Over time, new species emerge. Example, the evolution of whales. Millions of years ago, whales had legs and lived on land. Over time, they adapted to life in water, and their legs evolved into flippers. Section 6. How organisms interact in ecosystems. Life exists in complex networks of interactions. Predator-prey. Lions hunt zebras, keeping populations balanced. Symbiosis. Some bacteria help humans digest food. Competition. Plants compete for sunlight and water. Ecosystems are delicate. If one species disappears, it can impact the entire food chain. Conclusion and call to action. Life is incredibly complex and beautiful. From tiny bacteria to massive ecosystems, biology helps us understand the natural world. Imagine a world where all life forms, from tiny bacteria to giant whales, are connected by an invisible thread. That thread is evolution. It explains why seahorses, jackrabbits, hummingbirds, and giraffes, though vastly different, share fundamental similarities in their skeletons, genes, and biology. But how is this possible? The answer lies in natural selection, adaptation, and the passage of time. Evolution is the key that unlocks the mysteries of life, explaining how species change, diversify, and survive in ever-changing environments. At its core, evolution is the process of biological change over time. It explains how species accumulate differences from their ancestors and adapt to their environments. The fossil record provides compelling proof that life has been evolving for billions of years. As a result, Earth is home to millions of species, each uniquely adapted to its surroundings. Yet, despite this diversity, all organisms share a common ancestry. Evidence for this unity includes genetic similarities. All life forms use DNA as their blueprint. Anatomical similarities. Organisms share common body structures, such as the forelimbs of bats, whales, and humans. Embryonic development. Many species show similar early development stages, proving they evolved from a shared ancestor. This duality of unity and diversity is best explained through evolution. Section 2. The scientific explanation of evolution. Evolution occurs through a process known as descent with modification. This means that species change gradually over generations, adapting to different conditions. Biologist Theodosius Dobzhansky once said, "Nothing in biology makes sense except in the light of evolution." And he was right. Evolution is the foundation of modern biology. But how do we classify life? Section 3, the 3 domains of life. All life forms on Earth are classified into 3 major domains based on their cellular structure and genetics. 1. Bacteria. Single-celled prokaryotes, no nucleus, found in soil, water, and even inside your body. Includes helpful bacteria, gut bacteria, and harmful ones, disease-causing bacteria. Archaea. Similar to bacteria, but live in extreme environments, volcanoes, deep-sea vents. Some produce methane gas and survive in conditions no other life form can. 3. Eukarya. Complex organisms with a nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. Includes plants, fungi, animals, and protists. Each of these domains represents a massive branch of the tree of life, proving that all living organisms are connected. Section 4. Classifying the diversity of life. Scientists have identified around 1.8 million species, but estimates suggest that Earth could have 10 million to 100 million species in total. To keep track, biologists classify species using a two-part scientific name, binomial nomenclature. Genus, species, example, Homo sapiens for humans, used worldwide to avoid confusion in naming species. This system helps us understand how species relate to one another and where they fit in the tree of life. Section 5. Unity and diversity, the connection between species. Even though life forms vary widely, there is a deep unity among all species. All organisms share DNA as their genetic material. Basic cellular structures are similar in all life forms. Many species share common body structures due to evolution. For example, the bones in a whale's flipper, a bat's wing, and a human arm are arranged similarly, despite their different functions. This is evidence of common ancestry and how evolution modifies existing structures for new purposes. Section 6. Charles Darwin and Natural Selection. Charles Darwin, in his book On the Origin of Species, 1859, explained the mechanism behind evolution. Natural selection. How does natural selection work? 1. Variation. Individuals in a population have different traits. 2. Overproduction. More offspring are produced than can survive. 3. Competition. Organisms compete for food, shelter, and mates. 4. Survival of the fittest. Those with advantageous traits survive and reproduce. 5. Gradual change. Over time, populations change and evolve. Example, the Galapagos finches. Different finch species have different beak shapes, adapted to the food available on their islands. This is adaptive radiation, where species evolve to fill different ecological roles. Section 7. The Tree of Life, How Species Are Connected. Evolution is like a giant tree, with every branch representing a new species that evolved from a common ancestor. The more closely related species are, the closer their branches on the tree. This explains why humans and chimpanzees share 98% of their DNA. Understanding this tree helps scientists trace the origins of life and predict how species will evolve in the future. Section 8. Scientific Inquiry and the Scientific Method. How do we study evolution? Using the scientific method. Step 1. Make observations. Step 2. Form a hypothesis. Step 3. Conduct experiments. Step 4. Analyze data. Step 5. Draw conclusions. This process allows scientists to test ideas and discover new evidence about evolution. Section 9. Case study, investigating coat color in mice. One famous experiment studied why mice in different habitats have different fur colors. Scientists observed that mice in sandy areas have light fur. Mice in darker soil regions have dark fur. To test if this was an adaptation, researchers placed artificial mice models in different environments. Result: camouflaged mice survived longer than non-camouflaged ones. This confirmed that natural selection favors traits that provide better survival chances. Conclusion: the power of evolution. Evolution is the reason life exists in so many forms. It connects all living things, explaining why species change, adapt, and diversify. The study of evolution helps us understand our past, protect endangered species, and develop new medicines. If you found this video informative, hit like and share with fellow science lovers. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next lesson.